Talking about the concept of use of force and self-defense under international law. The question is, does international law allow use of force or prohibit use of force under international law? And both these provisions are provided under UN Charter. Now Article 2 Clause 4 of the UN Charter says or mentions that the states shall refrain from using force against other member states. Whereas under Article 51 of the UN Charter, it mentions that use of force could be allowed, but as a form of self-defense. So the question is that, what is the level of force which can be used as a form of self-defense? Now, this point was highlighted in the case of military and paramilitary activities in the case of Nicaragua versus USA. In this case, the ICJ highlighted or rather segregated the concept of use of force and held that there are one instance where the use of force is of more grave nature and one instance where the use of force is of a lesser grave nature. So that instance where the use of force is of that higher or a grave nature is categorized as armed attack. So self-defense is allowed only in cases of armed attack according to the Nicaragua case. But under international law, there is another concept of preemptive action. Now, preemptive action can be taken as a form of self-defense, particularly when the threat is imminent. There is no other alternative. Threat is very much possible and a country is under this threat that it might get attacked. And under this imminent threat that attack is possible and there is no other alternative, they can use force as a form of self-defense. But according to Article 51 of the UN Charter, of course, it must be referred to the UNSC and UNSC must approve this action, or at least it must be referred to the UNSC. Now, talking about preemptive use of force as a form of self-defense has been highlighted in the Caroline case and also considered as part of customary international law. Now, this was also highlighted in the case of Nicaragua versus USA, and when United States and its allies took action against the response of 9/11, it highlighted this aspect that it is taking response or it is taking those measures of self-defense as a preemptive measure, also highlighted under customary international law.